Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am meteorologist Liam Kenny, and in today's video, I will be recording part 2 of my cloud podcast that I had started a few weeks ago. I deeply apologize for not being able to record this sooner. I have been very busy with work lately and also getting back into the groove of things school-wise, and I just really haven't had enough time. Also being so in-depth with this year's hurricane season, with the amount of storms that we've gotten over these past few weeks. I've been very busy with all of this, and I completely apologize for not being able to record this sooner for you guys. But thankfully, I have found time in my schedule to record this. I want to give you guys a brief remembrance of what we did in the first podcast. I went over what clouds are, how they form, and the 10 different types of clouds. In this part of my podcast, I will be going over the 4 main types of clouds. The other ones are kind of just combinations of different clouds, and they're not as important as the 4 main types of clouds. But once again, really fast, I'll go over what a cloud is. It is a very large collection of very tiny water droplets of water or ice crystals, and they are so small and light that they can float in the air. And how clouds form is warm air often streams ahead of storms, and this warm and less dense air is forced to rise over cold surface air, and that warmer air can then extend 1,000 miles from a particular center of a storm, and then as it rises to greater heights, it cools and forms these high clouds, which is pretty much condensation. I gave a great example last time. When you're cooking, when you have a pot on the stove, your stove is going to be your sun. The pot of water, whenever you can see like the steam going up, that's water vapor. The sun is evaporating all the water. And then if you have a microwave over your stove, you can kind of see that after your water is boiling, all that water vapor, it kind of sits over your microwave and your microwave gets hot. That is actually a cloud, okay? So, once again, the 4 main types of clouds that I will be going over today is stratus clouds, cirrus clouds, cumulus clouds, and cumulonimbus clouds. I will be going over what they are, how they form, what type of weather they bring, and what they look like. So first, I want to go to stratus clouds. The name comes from the Latin prefix strato, which means layer. These clouds can produce a light drizzle or a small amount of snow, and these types of clouds are essentially above ground fog that are formed either through the lifting of morning fog or through cold air moving at very low altitudes over a region. And these clouds form when a sheet of warm, moist air lifts off the ground and depressurizes. So the top one is a picture of what a rain cloud, what this cloud looks like when it's raining, and then you can kind of see on this picture the fog, what it kind of looks like when it's foggy out. So here are cirrus clouds, and cirrus clouds are delicate, feathery clouds that are made up of mostly ice crystals. Their wispy shape comes from the wind currents in the atmosphere, which twist and spread the ice crystals into many strands, and they form from the a sense of dry air that makes the small quantity of water vapor in the air undergo deposition into ice. And because of the ice crystals, that what gives them their little white color and their form. And you can see by this picture, these are very wispy clouds that kind of look like big feathers in the atmosphere. And these clouds, once again, are formed by the sense of dry air that's making the small quantity of water vapor undergo deposition into ice. So now we go to cumulus clouds, and these ones are the big ones that look like cotton balls in the atmosphere, okay? So once again, these are big, puffy-looking clouds that sometimes look like big cotton balls that are floating very high in the sky. And the base of these cotton balls actually are usually flat, and they are usually about 3,300 feet or 1,000 meters above the ground. And these clouds are formed by small thermals, which is upward-moving air parcels heated by contact to the warm ground where condensation occurs, and they grow to extend vertically through the troposphere. Now these clouds are, as I said, very puffy, and once again, you can usually find them if you're in a plane, if you're about 3,300 feet above the ground or 1,000 meters above the ground. Now, these are very cool-looking clouds. These are called cumulonimbus clouds, and these clouds are usually associated with the thunderstorms that we get, and also the heavy precipitation. And they are formed between 20,000 feet, and they are relatively close to the ground. So they are formed anywhere, from the ground up to 20,000 feet in the air, and they're usually very, very close to the ground. And this is why they also have so much moisture inside of them, because once again, that sun evaporates all the water vapor off the ground, makes it into a cloud, and then once that cloud has enough water in it, it turns into a cumulonimbus cloud, and then once a cloud has too much water in it, it falls back to the ground as precipitation. Now, there's two different types of cumulonimbus clouds. You can see on this one I'm showing you, it's a very dark sky. This is the one you could relatively see with thunderstorms. This is what we can see from the ground surface, but if you are in a plane flying, this Anvil Cloud, which is the bottom picture, is what you will be seeing. And what an Anvil Cloud is, you can see all those clouds on the ground. Those are pretty much what I just showed you. But this one, the reason why it's so flat is because these clouds are lifted way, way, way up in the atmosphere. And the reason why they're so flat is because as soon as they hit the atmosphere, they pretty much just, flatten out because they hit that top layer of the atmosphere. So they'll keep going as high as they can until they eventually flatten out, which means that they are hitting the outermost layer of the atmosphere. So once again, these clouds are usually associated with all the thunderstorms that we get, and whenever we get very heavy rain that falls down to the ground, these are always the clouds that make these, okay? So once again, the four main types of clouds are stratus clouds, cirrus clouds, cumulonimbus clouds, and cumulus, okay? So that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for listening. Once again, I really apologize for not being able to record this sooner. I hope you guys all were able to enjoy part one of my podcast. I will only be doing two parts of this podcast because there's really not much to learn about clouds. But hopefully I will be able to do another podcast for all of you sooner than later. I'm not exactly sure what my next podcast will be on, but just make sure that you are a subscriber to my YouTube channel. Please be sure that you hit that notification button on my channel so that way you don't miss out any other videos. And please be sure that if you are liking the content, be sure that you're hitting that thumbs up button to tell me that you like the content. And if you guys are liking my website, you guys know that I have posted my email there, so that way if any of you have any questions or concerns about my video, please feel free to email me. I might not get back to you on that very same day, but I will try and get back to you as soon as I can. And with hurricane season being as active as it is, Hurricane Delta is about to make landfall on the Louisiana coast. Hopefully I will be able to do another broadcast today, giving you guys the updated information from the National Hurricane Center based on the latest advisory. But if not, please be sure that if you are in Louisiana, that you are taking all of the necessary precautions that you need to. Please be sure that if you have to leave, please be sure that you're doing that now, and please be sure that you are listening to everything that law enforcement has to say and your statewide officials, because they are putting their safety at risk to make sure that you are safe. So please be sure that you are doing everything to keep yourself safe, so that way they can also keep themselves safe, okay? So once again, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys have a great day, and see you next time.